When you need a mortgage, don't stress at all. Just tune right in and give these guys.
Good morning, YouTube. Today is Tuesday, June 30th. And wow, are we flying through the summer heat wave in effect? Tom does not look to be in Pittsburgh. I don't know, Anth. It's a pretty good looking backyard if he is.
Is that a screensaver or is that real palm trees?
Yeah, can you tell it's glitching like Ryan's in the background there? You know, no, we're good. We're here. This is it.
Move your head so you can see the sun.
We're down at Anna Maria Island in Florida here.
If Tom was creative, he would have done the thing where it looks like he's holding up the tree or something, but he's not that creative.
Oh, I picked the wrong side. I tried to hold that tree, and I held that tree.
That kind of worked. Being a weatherman isn't so easy. What's going on, fellas?
Not much, man. Good morning.
Good morning.
Blessed to be on vacation, so we're out here and enjoying the weather. Seems crazy part is, though, and enjoy your weather up there in Pittsburgh today, folks, because it's actually 10 degrees warmer in Pittsburgh today than it is in Florida, which is wild.
I don't know if that's a good thing, but yeah, it's hot everywhere. Enjoy it because it's better than the snow, and just use that air conditioning as much as you can. Maybe a ceiling fan or two, get that air circulating. That's what we're all about. And today, what we're all about, what we're going to get into, is the question we probably get asked most as loan officers is, what is my real credit score? What is my mortgage credit score? I see this, I see that, I see it here, I see it there. And no one understands what their score is, that you actually have multiple scores, that it actually depends on what you're getting credit pulled for. And actually the only person you can get your actual mortgage credit score from is one of us, a loan officer.
Yeah, absolutely. Because when we're pulling credit, we're pulling specific credit for each of these three credit bureaus. There's 24 different FICO models, I believe, for each of these bureaus. And it really depends on which one you're looking at. There's ones for your cars. There's ones for your credit cards. There's a Vantage score model that the news has picked up over the last couple months, as well as our mortgage credit pulls, which tend to be a little bit more strict. I call them old school because I feel like they've raised the scores over the last over the last decade. So you could get like an 840, 850. And I hear people tell me that all the time, but the mortgage one's a little bit more strict. And, you know, we only see up to about 815 on most cases.
And Tom said a lot of good stuff there. And first off, everyone has three credit scores, right? Because each bureau gives you a credit score. There's three credit bureaus, each has a score, but they're all coded differently. So it's great that there's these third-party companies, these credit cards that show credit scores, but it really convolutes the situation when we pull credit for a pre-approval. It's not exactly the score that their credit card is showing, then everyone gets all worked up for no reason.
Yeah, I mean, it is a misconception for sure. I mean, when somebody's just using one of the free apps or anything like that, it seems like everybody out there is offering a free FICO. But if you pulled four of them, every one of them is going to be different, but they're supposed to be just an estimate of where one of your scores could be. You know, two of the main companies started as a credit monitoring company offering those free FICOs, and then everybody jumped on board. But if you read the fine print, it's not being pulled directly from Equifax, Experian, or TransUnion, which is the three major credit bureaus. Once you apply for credit with a lender, credit card, auto loan, whatever it may be, that's when your credit score is coming through for lending purposes only, not a consumer view. The consumer view is where people get confused, like, hey, you know, I just looked at my credit score on, you know, my FICO or whatever it may be, and it's a 782. And then we pull it, it's a 624. Well, at that point, we're getting the actual information from the credit bureau from what's being reported, as well as the lending scoring model for the credit scores that we need. So they are going to be very different compared to some of the free sites or the free FICO.
And please remember, West Penn Financial is not making up the credit scores, right? If you get your credit pulled for mortgage purposes, Every bank, every lender, as long as you do it within a 30-day period, is getting the same information. So we don't make the rules. We just follow them. We're going off the 3 scores that the credit bureaus give us for their mortgage algorithms. And just so you know, when there's 2 borrowers, each borrower has 3 credit scores. We take the middle of the 2, and then the lower of those 2, right? We use that. So I didn't explain that very well, but the lowest middle score, Tom, is what we use. So if someone has an 800 credit score and someone has a 680 credit score, they don't get merged together. They don't get averaged. Your interest rate and qualification for mortgage purposes are being based off that lower credit score.
Yeah, exactly. We use that middle one. And why we do that is because they range every time. It's not that Equifax is always the lowest, Experian's always the middle, and TransUnion always the highest. That's not all how it works. They could be mixed and matched, and it depends on which borrower and how they look at the different credit, revolving, large installment loans, things like that, and how it's actually done. That's what's generating that score for everybody. For the people at home taking notes, we use TransUnion Classic 4, Experian version 2, and Equifax version 5, and they all have a different algorithm. If we knew the algorithm, I would tell you, but we don't, and that's why these 3 companies are still in business. I would love to help get you guys better credit by knowing the algorithm. We could jump in easily, but there are models and there are things, there are tools that we have at our disposal. So don't fear having a lower credit score, because we are able to help get credit scores up with some of our tools that we have.
And it's an imperfect system. You don't know till you know, and your credit pull is good for 120 days. That's why we really stress that it's the most important part of your pre-approval. You can show bank statements, you can show pay stubs, you can do it all. Unless you have that credit pull, you know your credit score and your debt to income ratio, none of that other information matters. And you don't know until you know. And we see all the time, student loans. Folks think, oh, I'm not paying on my student loans. That's not going to affect me. It may not affect your credit score, but for mortgage purposes, mortgage law, mortgage guidelines, we have to look at debts and give that a payment in some cases.
Yeah. I mean, when we're qualifying somebody for a new mortgage, I mean, we're taking all debts into equation. You know, just because you don't have a payment now doesn't mean you're not going to have a payment later. It's just not due yet, whether it's deferred or in a forbearance or something of that nature. But that payment's going to come due. And we have to make sure when those payments come due, you're still able to afford the mortgage we lent you so you don't go into foreclosure. So we are going to be using, you know, a payment based on the balance, typically, you know, 0.5% of the overall balance of that student loan or for each student loan that you have. But it doesn't mean that a buyer is not able to buy a house if they have student loans. I mean, that's a misconception on its own. You know, the payment ends up being very small in comparison, you know, but yeah, one of us, you know, talks to clients all the time and go over this. So reach out to one of us for sure.
And I think really for agents, instead of asking, because again, it gets convoluted. Did you get pre-approved? Did you get pre-qualified? What did you get? What letter do you have? Just ask the question, has your credit been pulled? If your credit has been pulled, you know that lender is doing their due diligence. If there's no credit pull, it's not worth the paper it's written on, because it's the most important part of the process.
100%. I will not give a pre-approval letter without a credit pull. So
Can't do it.
Bunks that myth right there. Bing, bang, boom.
Can't do it, won't do it. Everyone have a great Tuesday. The World Cup is unbelievable. If you missed yesterday, I pity a fool. Today is going to be great. USA plays tomorrow. Let's go, America.
Have a good day, guys.
Later.
Tom, Ryan, and Anthony, oh, they